If it feels like it's taken a long time to get here, that's because it has. Not this trail specifically, even though I'm happy that it's finally reopened after some fires a few years ago, or last year, whatever. I'm talking about getting here in the front seat of the 6th gen 4Runner. I believe the 5th gen 4Runner ran from about the time of Napoleon until yesterday. But it's here, the 6th gen. I'm in it, we're driving it, and it has evolved massively. Some fans of the 4Runner aren't gonna be happy, but everybody else, you should have a lot to smile about. All right, so which flavor of 4Runner are we in? We went straight to the top. This is the TRD Pro, even though it is now sharing the top with the Trail Hunter. And when I say top, I mean the most capable version, not the most luxurious, because there is a luxurious trim, if you want to call it that, as luxury as one of these can get before you have to jump to a Lexus. This, though, is the TRD Pro, which is the one that you aspire to if you're a 4Runner fan, this or that new Trail Hunter. Personally, I think I like the idea of the Trail Hunter, but I like the mechanical bits of the TRD Pro here, and I gotta tell you why. First, though, let's start with how this thing looks, and for that, I'm gonna need to step outside the vehicle. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about on the outside of this thing. It's still over-designed. See all this extra lines, like cut line, bump, bump, crease, crease, bump, 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 crease, crease, hood scoop, bump, 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 crease, 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 creases back there, multi-creases over here. It's just too much design. They're designing for the sake of over-designing, and it's too much. And then, yeah, you got Hulk Hogan handlebar mustache here. Oh, look at here, brother, I'm a tough truck. I do like the treatment of the Toyota logo because it feels old school. I like that. I like that there's integrated light bars. These ones you can turn on just by turning on as fog lights. This one only activates if you have the high beams on, which makes sense so that it doesn't allow you to just blind people on the road like some overlanding dipshits like to do with their lights. If you drive a truck on road with your off-road lights on, you're an idiot. You need to stop it. You make the rest of us look like jackasses. You're blinding everybody. No one thinks your truck is cool when you do that. So don't do that. There's no argument. You can't argue, like you just look like an asshole. And I hate it. Here, back to the truck. Great skid plate protection. Good looking wheel design. I think the Trail Hunter wheels are a little bit better, but those are good too. Those are good looking wheels. You could go either way. Your 33-inch Toyo tires, and you can see the bit of red peeking out under there on the control arm. Upper control arm. And then if you can find your hand in there to reach to adjust the dampers, you can do that too. I like that you can still put this down because that's important for 4Runner owners. Toyota said if they didn't do that, 4Runner fans would revolt and hurt them. I can see dust, which means someone is coming. For those of you who don't drive off-road or are gonna drive off-road soon, if you ever see dust on a trail, just be mindful that means someone is coming or going. Just keep your head on a swivel. But either way, that's my thoughts on the outside of the truck. Let's go back inside. Okay, now back here on the inside, it's nicely done. It is a comfortable vehicle to sit in. I do not feel like I'm sitting on the floor anymore, which is great. I have good visibility for the most part, except on a little bit of climbing when there's a little bit of incline work, that dumb hood scoop. Dumb is a harsh word. I don't love the way it's designed, but the way the hood scoop and the bulge in the hood can block some sight lines when you're doing some nose up driving. The screen, yeah, it's big and it just looks like it's slapped into place, but I like that it's very easy to see what I want to see. If I'm running Onyx on here through CarPlay, which is a lovely feature to have up, or just see my music, if I'm running Waze, all that stuff, it's nice and easy to see. The seats, like I said, very comfortable. There's good room in the second row. There's great room in the rear cargo area, even though the battery the way the battery is inserted back there does reduce your cargo space. It lifts the load floor up a little bit, which that part is kind of just poor packaging on Toyota's part. Everything else, though, on the inside of this truck is great. There's an included light hidden in the side of this truck, which is pretty cool. You pop that out, and it can be the bright white light or the more amber light. Kind of a neat feature. But let's go mechanical bits, because that's what's most important here on the 6th gen and specifically the TRD Pro. So this one is hybrid only, and that's a good thing, because I know some people are like, nah, I would like to pay less for the lesser powertrain, and that I do get. That I do get, because if there's any way to make this cheaper, that would be a good thing. But this powertrain is exceptional in terms of the power delivered. 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, which is phenomenal for a vehicle in this class. And it's extremely usable and helpful when you're out on the trail. There's some silent EV running when you're just doing slow speed stuff around town, which is pretty cool too. Save some fuel. 4Runners have always been notoriously piggy in terms of sipping on the gas. Here you can get a little bit better, mid to high 20s in combined driving. But the power is great on-road, it's great off-road. It's just so much more useful to have all that great power in the 4Runner. Now, this being the TRD Pro, we've got Fox shocks at all 4 corners. These are the QS3s. They're 2.5-inch reservoirs, quick selectable 3. That means you can reach in there and adjust from one of 3 settings on the dampers, which is pretty cool as well. I'm not fiddling with that. I'm just leaving it as is. In fact, I'm not even messing with the terrain management system that's in this vehicle, because there's all sorts of off-road driving modes, which can make your life easier. But all I've done, I've left it in 2. I've turned traction control off. It's not in sport or anything. It's just in normal. And obviously, it's going to do fine out here. This is not like I'm somewhere trying to cross the Rubicon. We've got 33-inch all-terrain tires. The ride is comfortable. It is sure-footed. It is everything that you expect from an off-road ready 4Runner. These shocks feel great. I like that on the Trail Hunter version, they didn't go with the Fox. They just went with the more simple old man emu setup, which makes more sense for that world. That's like a slow trail rambler machine, whereas this is the fast attack vehicle. When you are doing slower speed stuff though, at least on when you're off the trail, when you're on the road, sometimes the gearbox seems a little confused at times. It's an 8-speed automatic. I don't know why that is. It's just randomly, it's like, it's doing some stuff in between gears or it doesn't know where to be. And it's really only at like the slower speed stuff in traffic, which is kind of annoying. But once you're just running normal, it's totally fine. I think that could just be a weird tuning thing for the slower speed stuff. But the steering feel is great. The brakes, I could always use a bit more of bite, just because these things aren't light, So I would love a bit more initial bite out of the pedals. It just feels like you're just kind of leaning into the pedal more than you should just to haul this thing down from speed. So they probably could have gone up a size or gone with more aggressive pads. Knowing that this is the TRD Pro, you're going to be driving faster, you're going to be driving off-road. So I would love, again, just a little bit more initial bite out of the brakes. So let's move on to the tough part. It's price. And I know if you watch this channel, and if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I've never said that in one of my videos, but apparently that does help. Subscribe, like the video. Work the algorithm, my dudes. I complain about price in almost every single video, and then in the times I don't, it's weird because it's usually on something very expensive. It is a tough pill to swallow as tested. These start at 68 as tested. This one is like 72, and the Trail Hunter is right there with it. They're basically the same starting price. You can start in the 50s for a 4Runner, which is great, but $73,000 is just so much. It's such a large number to apply to a 4Runner, especially when you have, the Land Cruiser. You can get in the 50s. You can get Lexus GX 550s for this much money, or even less. So it is just, that's where I struggle. Yes, this is very capable, and this is just a burly machine that you can just huck at things, and that's great. For my money though, I'm going Lexus GX550 all day long. I like the powertrain in that better. It has EKDSS, which is wonderful, though in this you can just tell it, hey, stabilizer bar, take a break, which is awesome. I haven't done that yet. I have that locked, but the ability to quick connect your stabilizer bar, your front stabilizer bar is awesome. This does have a rear locker, which is awesome. So this is an incredibly capable machine, no doubt about it. I think the Lexus looks better. I think the Lexus drives nicer on road, though this isn't bad. I do enjoy when an off-road vehicle like dives and moves around, so you know, like, oh yeah, I got cool suspension parts under there. So I don't mind that at all. And on-road handling is totally solid in this thing. It's not like it's a Wrangler or anything like that. But at the as-tested price, I don't know why you wouldn't just get a GX550. I mean, I do know why, because you love 4Runners and you want those Fox shocks and you just want the beast that this thing is. And then if you do want to compare this to a Bronco Raptor, which you can, you know, it's very similar suspension underneath it. The mentality of what the vehicles can do is very similar. Then it's a bargain, because the Bronco Raptors are 90. On the flip side, the Ranger Raptor, which, you know, I know that's a pickup truck, but if you want to compare this in terms of the same mission statement, that makes more sense, because that's a better deal, because those are in the 50s. And the Ranger Raptor still remains just such an amazing relative bargain based on what it can do. I really am a huge fan of that truck. But here, I like this. I'm happy with it. It's great. It's doing wonderful things. It's extremely capable. It's everything you want a 4Runner to be. I think the style of it looks good with when you get into the more aggressive off-roady versions. It looks nice. So it's checking all the boxes. It's just very expensive, and you know, that's the tough selling point. Some guy's camping over here in a very nice Land Cruiser. So I'm gonna say hi to him, because he's got like a whole setup with a dog. That is fantastic. So to sum up, the 4Runner is really good. It's really expensive. I like the Trail Hunter mission statement a bit more than the TRD Pro mission statement, but both are a blast. And you do what you want to do and have fun. I like the turbo noises this makes. This makes great whooshy turbo noises. And it is an excellent machine as long as you can stomach the cost of entry.